Hi, welcome back to Ottawa again. The building that you just saw a second ago was the Museum of Civilization in Ottawa. This time though, unlike my previous video that you might have seen in Ottawa, as you can tell, the temperature is not quite the same as it was before, and I'm absolutely freezing. Nevertheless, welcome back to the Good Business, Bad Business section, and I want to tell you something that happened to me again in another restaurant last night. And I have a feeling there might be a few restaurant stories that you're going to find on here, but nevertheless, went to this restaurant last night, and I'd been there before and had a really great meal last time I was there. But when we turned up, there was a big party going on. I think maybe someone had just got married and everybody had gone to the restaurant. Now the mistake initially that the business had made was they didn't. A lot of businesses get into a situation where they feel like they can't turn customers away. Because like, well, I can't turn a customer away because I've got to have them here, I've got to have the money coming in and things like that. Whereas sometimes if you can't offer the customer the experience that they deserve, maybe it's sometimes better to turn them away. And even if you were to offer them something in return, maybe a voucher, we'd love to have you come back, but right now we're not able to take you in because we've got a party and we can't serve you the way that we should serve you. However, those people didn't quite think that way and wanted to fill the place. And there were people pounding off the street and there was no way that everyone was going to get served. But nevertheless, I decided to stick it out and I decided I was going to have my food. So after waiting about 20 minutes or so and experiencing some of the worst service I've ever seen in my life, and I could feel it inside out, I could feel myself getting wound up, I was like, it's all right, everything's going to be okay, don't worry about it, everything's going to be absolutely fine. I don't know why, I probably should have got up at that point and walked out. But I decided to stick it out. When the food turned up, again, it was shockingly bad. Well, because it was absolutely clay cold for a start. And I think that for me was the final straw of the whole thing. But what I learned and what I saw was this. I saw staff running around like crazy people. And not only that, I saw the owner who was not the slightest bit happy that these people were coming in off the street. And he was having a go at his staff, and the staff they just weren't handling the situation at all very well. But the truth of the matter is this, and I've said this all the time, the onus will always fall on the owner of that business. It's up to him to tell his staff what they need to do and how they need to do it. So although he wasn't happy that these people were still coming off the street looking for some food in his restaurant, the way in which he handled it wasn't great at all. And you have to get to a certain point where you say, you know what, for me to serve my customer the best possible way that I want to serve them, it has to be done my way. If it's not done my way, then I can't serve that customer, and I have to let them know that this isn't the time to come in. But when my food arrived, and I said to the guy, and like I said, at that point, I'm kind of pretty much my final straw, but I said to the guy, it's not going to happen, the food's just not working, not having a great time, let's just have the check and we're out of here. The attitude that I received in return from that member of staff was absolutely appalling. And you have to make sure that your staff are trained to such an extent that you don't allow that sort of thing to happen. Again, it's great when we're busy in business, but your staff need to be trained to know how to deal with that level of pressure, and also they need to know how to deal with complaints. And I'm going to do a slightly different video on complaints, but it is absolutely crucially important that when a complaint comes about, that it's not received by a member of staff with attitude, and yet that complaint is embraced, because by embracing that complaint, those customers are there to teach you. You've made a mistake. What is that mistake? Embrace the mistake and make sure that you learn from it and that it doesn't happen again, and that you train your staff accordingly so that all areas are filled. We discussed this before in systems. Everything can be systemized. Complaints can be systemized. Problematic food can be systemized. I'm going to do another video on this for you as well, which is about quality control. You know, make sure that when you give something out, that it's the best that it's given out all the time. You know, I know you've probably seen Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. That's what he does. He has a standard. And when something leaves that kitchen, that is his mark, that's his name on that food. And if it's not perfect, it shouldn't leave. I'm going to leave it there because there's a bunch of different videos that'll come just from this one thing here. And in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy the fall here in Ottawa. And hopefully get back to some nice warmth soon when I get all the way back to Florida. In the meantime, I'll see you soon in the next video.